Coming up on this episode of Falmouth in Focus, we check out Woods Hole Oceanographic's new research vessel, the Neil Armstrong, learn about a local program that's looking for volunteers to help homeless children, see how one organization makes Month of the Military Child every month, and learn the details of all the traffic detours and road closures going on around town. All this and much more on this edition of Falmouth in Focus.
Hello and welcome to Falmouth in Focus, FCTV's current affairs program. I'm Liz Lerner, the Membership and Outreach Coordinator at FCTV. We'll start this episode with some updates from our roads. We spoke with Amy Lowell recently, Falmouth's acting wastewater superintendent, about why so many roads are being detoured and the timeline for the road construction completion.
So there's construction going on in several main areas of town right now. For the Little Pond Sewer Service Area project, we're installing sewer mains in Route 28. We're starting at Sandwich Road, and we will be closing down about 200-foot sections of Route 28 from now through Memorial Day, until Memorial Day. And as we move along, we will open up the stretch of road behind us. There will be police officers stationed at each end of that at the intersections to direct traffic in and around it. I want to make clear that businesses on Route 28 are open. And if you just point and indicate to the police officer that you want to get through, they're doing a great job letting people through. So business is open on Route 28. The other area that we're working in right now is on Mara Vista Avenue. We started at Mara Vista Avenue at Randolph Street, and we are again closing down 200-foot sections of road south on Mara Vista, south of Randolph. We will continue for the next approximately 5 weeks, starting before or ending before Memorial Day at Iroquois Street, where it intersects Mara Vista. So we did have Spring Bars Road and Randolph Street closed for a number of weeks for sewer construction, water main installation, and paving, but that has now been completed, and Spring Bars and Randolph roads are fully paved and are open, and that is one of the main detour routes around the Route 28 construction area and Mara Vista Ave construction area. So in addition to the construction for the Little Pond Sewer Service Area project, there is construction in two main intersections in town by Mass DOT. The Massachusetts Department of Transportation is working at the Jones Road Worcester Court intersection. The utilities are being installed in the road under that intersection right now. The gas company is going to be there for the next 3 weeks. Once they're done, Mass DOT will come in and do their intersection improvements. They're rebuilding the sidewalks, putting in new lights at that intersection. That work will unfortunately continue as well until Memorial Day. This work is necessary to install the sewers for the Little Pond Sewer Service Area. This project and the work that's going on right now will provide sewer service for all of the businesses and residences along Route 28 and Mara Vista.
Visit falmouthmass.us for updated road closures, maps, and recommended detours around the area of work. Thank you to FCTV's Bob Fenstermaker for his work on that piece. On Wednesday, April 6, Woods Hole Oceanographic welcomed home its new research vessel, the Neil Armstrong. Hundreds gathered to welcome the ship, and a variety of dignitaries spoke about the importance of the day, including Chairman of the Board of Trustees, David Scully.
Only 3% of the ocean has been explored, and the problems facing the ocean today are myriad, from pollution and overfishing to ocean acidification. It is vital that we gain understanding of how these complex systems work so that we may develop solutions and programs to help mitigate them for the benefit of the generations who will come after us.
The Navy owns the Neil Armstrong, but a charter exists that allows Woods Hole Oceanographic Institution to operate the vessel. President and Director Mark Abbott spoke to its significance.
We're very proud to have been selected by ONR to operate the Neil Armstrong. It is an enormous honor. It's a great responsibility and one we take very seriously. one where we constantly train our crew, our technicians, our scientists. Planning and safety are the key things that we do to achieve the science missions.
Representing the Navy and NASA, astronaut Sunita Williams and the wife of the late Neil Armstrong, Carol Armstrong, remarked about this special day.
Like its shiny sister in space, the International Space Station, I'm sure these folks will make discoveries that will help save lives, open dialogues to solve societal issues and strengthen international relations, spur on new creative and innovative business ideas, inspire the next generation of explorers, and perhaps even help sustain life on our lovely little speck of a planet in the universe.
So I know Neil would love this because Neil's Navy. That's where he started, and that's where his heart was.
Some in attendance received a tour from the ship's captain, Kent Cheesley. The 238-foot Neil Armstrong can put to sea for up to 40 days with 44 scientists and crew and is equipped to conduct advanced oceanographic research almost anywhere in the world. It's been almost 6 years in the making since the ship was ordered as a replacement for the Nor, and although the staff and scientists are doing serious work, a friendly rapport was shown between the crew and their captain.
Kent, would you like to introduce the crew?
Sure. It's those guys right there.
Stay tuned to the end of the show where we'll feature more sights and sounds from the Armstrong's arrival. Springtown meeting was held recently and finished in 2 nights this year. If you couldn't tune in for all 8+ hours, we've got 3 takeaways from the meeting. Selections are chosen based on community impact.
Article 20 of the annual town meeting sought to allow construction of a 40-unit, 74-bedroom affordable housing development on Spring Bars Road on the 21-acre parcel.
I would like to amend Article 20 to add the clause at the very end of the very first sentence, comma, not to exceed 30 units and 70 bedrooms.
If we were to build 30 units at the site, the total development cost per unit would go to roughly $373,000 per unit, which really makes us not attractive to the state for that $10 million of the $13 million.
After much deliberation, the article was passed with an amendment, limiting the number of bedrooms to 70, but keeping the allowable number of units to 40. Several articles covered the town's approach towards its aquaculture as well as its use of shellfish to reduce nitrogen impacts on its ponds. Article 26 asked the town to use funding to create a 3-year nitrogen study and explore a shellfish nitrogen mitigation option for Bourne's Pond.
Aquaculture is needed in some estuaries. Wastewater pollutants must be removed and reduced prior to farming. You don't farm toxic land. Little Pond Oyster Project needs to be completed. We need to have the results.
Yeah, the science is there in terms of the chemistry. Okay, maybe so, but the science is also there from 3 people who are knowledgeable about it, is that widening doesn't necessarily cure the problem either. So why not do both? Vote this up. Thank you.
Many felt there is not enough research in shellfish nitrogen mitigation, and the article was voted down by a large majority. Article 5 of the special town meeting sought funding for the design of the new senior center, allocating $300,000 to be used on the next phase of the project.
The basic idea is that each of the sites we're considering have additional costs associated with them, and we need to get more information so we know exactly what those costs are going to be so we can know what we're comparing. So we know if it's a $4 million difference in cost between one location and another, that is going to change where we're necessarily going to be pushing.
We are doing it right. The process that's in place will give us the opportunity in November to decide, 1, do we want the senior center, or 2, where do we want it?
Though the selectmen are looking towards considering other sites, approval of this funding will allow design and additional site review to go forward and aims to keep the project within the previous timeline.
If you'd like to see town meeting in its entirety, check out FCTV's website for the Government Channel 15's program schedule, fctv.org. Our neighbors at the Barnstable County Sheriff's Office have a Citizens Academy coming up. FCTV's Jeff Wyman spoke to Sheriff James Cummings recently about what it entails.
The Academy is an 8-week program, although I think this course is going to just be 7 because of Memorial Day, and it's going to run from April 25th. Starting April 25th, and it's from 6 to 8 p.m. on Monday nights. And basically what the program does, it gives the public an opportunity to come right in here to the correctional facility and learn a little bit more about the Sheriff's Department. I think a lot of folks think, when they think sheriff, they think jail or prison, and we do a lot more than that, although the prison part of it is an important part of what we do, and it gives the citizens, the community, an opportunity to see exactly what we do. All of our divisions within the Sheriff's Office will make presentations to the class, and it will include our K-9 folks, our Emergency Communications Center, Regional Emergency Communications Center, Special Response Team, and several other areas of the Sheriff's Office that people don't naturally hear of. Usually the class size is between 20 and 25, and anyone who's interested, whether they live on Cape Cod or not, actually, it can come and go to the academy. We get great feedback from folks who have done it. They're all very excited on the last night when we give them their diplomas, so to speak. And the last night also includes a tour, a walking tour of the whole correctional facility, which most folks are very impressed with. We've been doing it for several years now, since we moved up. We moved up to the new facility here. We still call it the new facility, even though we've been here for almost 12 years now. And it was kind of a takeoff of what the police departments do. All the police departments now have a citizens academy, and we kind of followed the lead of the police departments and decided to do it right here. And of course, we're open to the entire county for folks who want to come up and look at our programs that we offer here at the jail. We hope that folks leave the correctional facility with a good idea of what the Sheriff's Office actually do. I hear folks all the time, some folks didn't even know we had a sheriff, and they think you might be the sheriff of Bourne or the sheriff of Falmouth, and actually it's a county position, it's an elected position, so they learn a little bit about that, and again, get a great opportunity to see what the men and women that work here at the Sheriff's Office do for them on a daily basis, and it gives the public a good idea of how their tax dollars are being spent.
If you're interested in attending the Citizens Academy, you can find an application at the Sheriff's website, bsheriff.net. We're excited to bring you this next feature, a monthly fishing report from Ryan Collins, the creator of My Fishing Cape Cod.
If you've been following the website at all over the past several months, you know that I've been trying for holdover striped bass. Now, holdover striped bass, for those of you who may not be aware, are stripers that, for whatever reason, have remained here on Cape Cod during the winter instead of migrating south. Now, the fish that I've been finding this winter have been much, much bigger than holdovers I've ever caught before in my entire life. And just a couple weeks ago, I caught one holdover that was easily over 25 pounds. Now, these fish are very bright, they're very healthy, and they are very, very fat. They have been feeding extremely well all winter long here on Cape. And during the month of April, they start to wake up a little bit. And if you're very persistent, and if you're willing to fish at night, you may find some of these holdovers in the estuaries here in Falmouth and throughout Cape Cod. Now, aside from holdover fishing, the freshwater bite is very good during the spring, very good right now. You can catch all sorts of trout, which are stocked by the state of Massachusetts in ponds here in Falmouth and throughout Cape Cod. You can also catch largemouth bass, and very soon we'll be able to target smallmouth bass as they prepare for the spawn. Also, now, more exciting than anything else are the migratory stripers, which are slowly moving up the coast. And I would anticipate that we'll find some schoolies that have sea lice that are moving in from the open ocean by the third week here in April at the latest. Aside from that, any other updates, feel free to tune into My Fishing Cape Cod, and I will talk to you in the next fishing report. Tight lines and take care.
Thank you to Ryan for that great information. Look forward to more from him as the weather gets warmer. We're about to take a quick break to learn about an adoptable dog from Friends of Falmouth Dogs. We'll be back with a story about a local organization that's looking for volunteers to play with kids, a member spotlight that involves a giant inflatable whale, and what the Month of the Military Child means to one area nonprofit. Stay with us.
Scooter is a 9-year-old male beagle. He was surrendered to Friends of Falmouth Dogs because his owner could no longer care for him. He's a young 9 years old and enjoys walking and the outdoors. Scooter is affectionate and loves attention. We feel he'd prefer to be the only dog. He would do best in an adult home or home with older kids. For more information about Scooter and the organization's location and hours, please visit their website at friendsoffalmouthdogs.org.
Welcome back. Horizons for Homeless Children is a nonprofit organization dedicated to improving the lives of homeless children by providing quality play and opportunities for early education. They have more than 100 family shelters statewide, including Falmouth. Our reporter Brian Sullivan recently visited the site and spoke with Horizons staff and a volunteer about the program's importance.
At first glance, the sight of this child playing seems like nothing out of the ordinary. Aside from the obvious fact that she's an adorable child having the time of her life playing with toys and bouncing around the room, there's really nothing unusual about this picture. And that's the idea. But if you dig a little deeper, you'll find that this child playing at this particular place is a pretty extraordinary event.
Horizons for Homeless Children runs the Play Space program. And what we do with the Play Space program is we design and build trauma-informed playrooms in homeless shelters. And then we bring in volunteers who come in for 2 hours a week, the same day and same time each week, just to provide a great opportunity for kids to play. Being homeless can be a very traumatic experience, so it's a chance for kids to forget about that and just be a child again. Do Play-Doh, bubbles, coloring, things kids should all have access to, but also they learn from and grow and heal with.
Volunteer Rick Kelly is retired, widowed, and a grandfather. So volunteering his time here worked out for him on a number of levels.
It's great. I have some grandchildren, and I really like the opportunity to give kids that probably didn't ordinarily have a chance to interact with an adult. That's one of the reasons I volunteered here.
To the untrained eye, the layout of this room looks not unlike most children's playrooms, but there's actually a special design here.
In our play spaces, we purposely design them so that, for example, one trauma-informed aspect is that many playrooms you're going to find all the furniture around the edges. But in our play space, you're going to find them jutted out and put all around the room because for children who have been through trauma, having a wide open space is actually very overwhelming. Think of it as, for example, if you had been through a traumatic attack in your life. Having someone you don't know go around your backside would be very overwhelming because you wouldn't feel safe. So for them, they have small nooks and areas of play where they can feel safe and feel like they're enveloped in kind of a hug, if you will, and be able to play and not worry about things like that.
And if you're wondering how a nonprofit can afford to run a program like this and have staff to watch over and play with the little ones while they're here at their play space, it's pretty simple.
We are completely run on 100% on volunteers. Our volunteers come in for those 2-hour shifts once a week. During those shifts, they provide opportunity for kids to play and engage and learn from early education. And our volunteers come from right here in Falmouth and other areas of Cape Cod. We recruit them right from the community. All they need to do is have a love of children. Then they get a chance to come and be trained in the stuff that we do with the kids with just a short 3-hour training. And they get the chance to give back and be a kid again themselves, really. It's a chance for them to play and have a good time each week. So it's a really wonderful way to give back.
In Falmouth, there are 2 shelters that they work with, and their play space times are morning and early evening, Monday through Thursday. And it's all designed with an eye on the long term.
We hope that the play that they go through and the skills that they learn in the play space help them later in their lives when they do see other challenging situations, that they have that resiliency to get past it even easier and be able to become great members of the society in the future. We want to break this cycle. We don't want homelessness to be a cyclical event. We want the kids to have a chance to get this in their young ages of life. You know, most of the brain develops by the age of 5, which is why we focus on these kids. So this is a chance for them to get what they need at this young age and hopefully not end up back here themselves in the future.
At Horizons Play Space in Falmouth, I'm Brian Sullivan for Falmouth in Focus.
If you're interested in learning about becoming a Horizons volunteer play pal, information can be found on their website, horizonsforhomelesschildren.org. FCTV members are always producing interesting content. This episode, we're featuring the work of member Allison Leshin. She visited the recent Family Fun program run by the 300 Committee, Whales in Your Backyard.
So today's all about the whales in our backyard. And we have these amazing creatures that live in the open ocean just off the coast of Massachusetts, right here. And it's nice to remember that they're here and celebrate them. So we have humpbacks, minkies, fins, and North Atlantic right whales. And we can see them on whale watches, but we can't always see them every day. So that's what we're showing today. And the centerpiece is Salt, our inflatable humpback whale. The inflatable whale Salt is based on the real, most famous humpback at Stellwagen Bank National Marine Sanctuary. And we've seen her every year since 1976, except for 1 year here. And we also see her in the Caribbean. And she's had at least 13 calves, and some of those calves have had calves. So she's a grandmother. And we saw her last year, and she had her own calf last in 2014, named Epsom. We're doing all kinds of activities. Our inflatable whale is 43 feet long and 37 feet wide, and you can take a tour outside her, but you can go inside her.
So she's actually a grandma, and every year she travels.
And she has inflatable organs inside, so the heart and the lungs and the 3 stomachs, and she has her baleen and the palate, the roof of her mouth, and her intestines painted in there too. So you can get a little bit of a glance at what it would feel like to be inside the belly of a whale. We have a whale sound station where you can hear different whale calls. And then there's a station that shows the baleen and all of the bones of whales. And we have a migration challenge where you help humpbacks get from the Caribbean, where they spend the winters, all the way up to Stellwagen Bank National Marine Sanctuary, where they eat during the summer and where they bring their calves to learn how to feed. We have a marine debris activity, which shows how whales can become entangled in fishing gear. We have a lot of plastics in our ocean now, and when animals are going for food, they can't tell the difference between their food and the plastics. So we have all kinds of animals, the whales, seabirds, turtles, that are ingesting these plastics, and it's making them sick or killing them. And this is a good reminder, trying to keep plastics out of our ocean and protect these amazing animals. We have the blubber glove, which is very popular, which gives you a chance to see what it feels like to put your hand in ice cold water, and then to also put it in a simulated blubber glove, so you can feel how much warmer it is and how the whales stay warm and can live in the cold ocean waters. The 300 Committee Land Trust of Falmouth, Stellwagen Bank National Marine Sanctuary, we're all working together to celebrate the wild animals in our backyard.
Thank you to Allison for her work on that piece. April is the month of the military child, and perhaps no other local organization acknowledges its importance more than the Cape Cod Military Support Foundation.
It's a very important month because the children in our military actually spend about 2 years to 2.25 years before they're moved. So if your dad's in the service and you're brought up as a military brat, like a lot of my friends out there, by the time you get to high school, you've made 8 to 9 moves. So you don't get to establish friendships, and you don't know when your dad's going to be deployed or your mom's going to be deployed. And there's a lot of uneasiness that you experience as a child of a military family. And what we try and do is ease that uneasiness while they're here on Joint Base Cape Cod. We provide 5 events a year for the kids. We do an Easter egg hunt to get them out of the house after the winter. We have a backpack to go back to school in September. We run a Halloween parade and party where they can get dressed up and get all kinds of candy. We have all the dentists in Cape Cod who donate the candy to us for that party. And then we have a skating party on Veterans Day. The town of Bourne has been very nice to us and given us ice time so that the family goes and they have a couple of hours to skate with the kids. And then the big event, which is my favorite, is the Joint Base Cape Cod Children's Christmas Party. Last year we had 800 children. Ocean State Job Lot, Toys for Tots, Operation Homefront, Michael's Department Store, and our members donated. I think each child that came got about 6 gifts. They were able to shop for their mother and father and have their gifts wrapped for their parents. We had a gift wrapping section in the back. We had a petting zoo. We had horse pony rides around the gymnasium. Santa came in a fire engine. We had Mrs. Claus was there to give out the gifts with Santa. And we covered ages from toddler to 17. So we try and do this on a yearly basis so that, you know, April is the month of the military child, but to us, every month is for the military child.
The foundation has an event coming up in May, a celebrity military shootout golf outing on Tuesday, May 31st. If you'd like to learn more about the event or ways to get involved with the organization, the group's website is capecodmilitaryfoundation.com. We're going to take a quick break, but we'll be back with Troy Clarkson's Take right after this. Welcome back. It's a theme in this episode, the traffic detours and road closures happening in town. Troy gives us his perspective on it all in this episode's Troy's Take.
Thanks, Liz. The great statesman and philosopher Benjamin Franklin said, "He who can have patience can have what he will." I'm not so sure if Ben Franklin would have said that if he were driving on the roads of Falmouth in 2016. I've had emails and calls and texts from people all around town saying, "Troy, you have to talk about the roads and the condition of the roads." So we're going to go on the road and take a drive around and see what all the hubbub is about. So we took a look on the Town of Falmouth website to see if we could figure out why all the roads are torn up from one end of town to the other. There was a report about the Little Pond Sewer project that I'm sure you've heard a lot about. So we're going to take a ride over to that area in Falmouth Heights. But then we know that there are other roads ripped up and projects going on, and we couldn't find anything on the website about those. So we're at least going to take a look at those and see if maybe we can raise awareness about the condition of our roads. So if you can't see it from the image on the camera, if I had an egg in my pocket, it would be scrambled by the time we finish this. I think the issue that people are feeling is not the knowledge of the construction, but it's trying to understand the quality of the patch job that's being done. So as people drive down roads that have supposedly been repaired, they're bending rims and busting tires and really not getting any answers. So this is ground zero for this portion of the construction. And actually, things are pretty well marked, and the patching that's been done allows you to pass the road without too much of a hassle. But again, the questions that I get are, why isn't that consistent throughout the work area and throughout the other projects that aren't even listed on the website? The icing on the cake for poor pavement is this approach to the busiest intersection in town, that of Jones Road and Route 28, what people call the Stop and Shop intersection. And not just because of the CVS project, but in general. Your ability to get through here without hitting a huge pothole or gritting your teeth is pretty much non-existent. So our journey around town, observing the conflict between patience and poor pavement, it ends right here where it started. We started on the Town of Falmouth website trying to gather information about all of the paving projects and all of the poor conditions of the pavement around town. And we did find some stuff on the Little Pond project, but very little, if anything, on everything else. So progress is a good thing, and investing in our infrastructure is also a good thing. But when that progress is executed poorly, and the public is left in the dark on the progress itself, is it possible to have too much of a good thing? Here at Falmouth Town Hall, I think that may be so. I'm Falmouth Enterprise columnist Troy Clarkson, and that's my take. Back to you, Liz.
Thank you, Troy. Since Troy recorded his piece, the town has updated its website with more information on the exact closures, detours, and details. The information is on the town's homepage, falmouthmass.us. Our hashtag MyFalmouth feature at the end of each show is an opportunity for residents and visitors to share with us their perspective and their view of life in town. Whether it's landscapes, events, or moments that have touched you, we'd like to feature them. Send us your photos via email to liz@fctv.org or use the hashtag MyFalmouth and Falmouth in Focus to be featured on the show. Thank you to our most recent contributors. We're going to end the show like we always do with the sights and sounds from around town. This time it's from the Welcome Home celebration of the research vessel Neil Armstrong down in Woods Hole. Thanks to the amazing aerial video shot by Woods Hole oceanographic staff. Thank you for joining us for this edition of Falmouth in Focus. We'll see you next time.